Okay, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of why this dish is good. I'm going to mispronounce it. It's called Bún Bò Huế. So, what we have here is a Vietnamese bowl. There's knuckly pork bits in there. This is gelatin, okay? Gelatin from the pork leg is going to attribute to giving the broth lots of viscosity. That's mouthfeel and texture, okay? The broth is loaded with umami because it's got fermented elements. It's probably got some soy or some fish sauce definitely in there, which makes a huge difference to giving sort of a huge depth of flavor. Now, also in here, and why people love pho so much, is because you've got the noodle compartment, the noodle component. So, let me just crack the chopsticks. I'll show you what else is in here. So, you've got soft noodles, that gives texture, but also littered in here when you talk about texture. Think of all the textures you have. You've got bone to work around, you've got soft and chewy and this sort of mystery meat thing. I think that's chicken salami. Lens wipe. And then you've also got the texture of these green onions. And you can add the texture of bean sprouts. Okay, so you've got lots of texture happening. Alright? And so when you talk about the 5 basic elements of food, you've got umami in there. You've got sweetness added if you add a little bit of hoisin. That's why people like it. Also you've also got more umami with that. You've also you've got deep salt happening from the fish sauce used and the heavy seasoned broth. You've got spice, of course, especially if you add some sriracha. And spice opens up your palate and allows you to kind of experience the flavors more vividly. So it actually plays an important role in having you taste things as opposed to just making things spicy. So you've got umami, sweet, salt. When it comes to bitter even, something like this, which I think is like a cilantro, spelled with a U, or I think it's called sawtooth. It's like a herb. So if you put a bit of this in, right, you get a little bitter element as well. Okay, and you can just tear it up and throw it in. I like to just go whole, because I'm crazy. Now you've got a bit of bitter. And finally, when you talk about the 5 elements, you've got umami, sweet, salty, bitter. And the last thing that's really important to note is just temperature. The temperature of this is perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's warming. It's comforting, right? So all these elements make a dish interesting, right? Not to mention you've got good variety. It's not just a meat and potatoes. You can have a piece of sausage and then you can nibble on a bone and then you can add bean sprouts and then you can have a slice of brisket. You've got endless opportunities within one dish, right? So you can eat this for 10 minutes straight and find it interesting. So think about when you're cooking, incorporating some of these elements: sweet, salty, bitter, umami, and also texture, temperature. All these things come together to make a dish decent. So just think about that.